Hello and welcome to the Current OC. I'm Charlie Costel.
And I'm Patrick Breslin. It's hard to believe it, but it's June. And if it's June, it means that the school year is winding down.
Recently, OCHS photography students had an opportunity to show off their work in a more public forum. The Current OC takes a look at what our OCHS photographers have to share with the public. Some pretty amazing pictures.
Yes, it measures the weather.
But we all remember March of 2020 when the whole world shut down and we went into complete lockdown and quarantine. The Current OC reflects upon the 2-year anniversary of COVID-19's reign of fear and isolation. Eddie D'Amico reports.
Let's be real, 2020 sucked.
That the coronavirus, the World Health Organization has officially called it.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
A year ago this weekend, we all had an eye on a rapidly spreading virus called COVID-19. But for the most part, we continued to go about our lives.
Hello there. We all know we've had it tough these last 2 years. On March 16th of 2020, Ocean City High School shut down due to the coronavirus, and the world as we knew it experienced a change. What was only meant to last 2 weeks ended up stretching into 2 years. In the beginning, things were crazy. You could find nothing on the supermarket shelves, toilet paper or hand sanitizer. The streets were also empty, and traffic was non-existent. Hospitals were chock full of coronavirus patients. People were scared. Meanwhile, for us students, we were all locked away in virtual learning, full of endless Zoom calls and computer screens, with absolutely no interaction with our family, friends, or teachers. While the majority of us were in this predicament, we decided to make the best of it as we could, and filled our time with binge watching, reading, writing, or even working on our talents, such as shooting hoops, soccer, or even archery. While all of this was a nice distraction, it was still a harsh reality we lived in. But things have gotten better. The coronavirus lockdown mandate expired in New Jersey on June 9th of 2020. And now, people are finally back out on the streets where they belong. Things are still back and forth, but now we are in-person learning amongst our friends and teachers, and finally able to see our families again. With the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine, a sense of normalcy has begun to return. Unfortunately, the coronavirus is still out there. But as long as we continue to work together, one day, this will all be behind us. Until then, this has been Eddie D'Amico, reporting for the Current OC.
It's not the amount you spend, but the thought you put into the gift. Well, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Speaking of spending money, we want to know how can someone celebrate Valentine's Day if they're hurting for cash? Again, COVID has impacted our economy and our spending habits. Take a look to see how you can show your love on a budget.
You take me on this expensive helicopter ride, then you get me this huge teddy bear. Now we're at this fancy restaurant. What else could you do?
Well, I did give you a special something.
Oh my gosh, this is so expensive. How could you ever afford this?
Well, you know.
Look familiar? If so, you may be one of many Americans who spend up to $160 on average for Valentine's Day. Although it doesn't seem like it, A person can spend this much on just chocolates, flour, a card, and dinner alone. Many consider this to be unavoidable, but what if there was a way to have a memorable Valentine's without sacrificing your bank account? Today, the current OC will help you to make the perfect Valentine's Day on a budget. We all know that the prices of roses jump up during Valentine's. So, to avoid this, get their favorite flowers instead. Let's just hope it's not roses. Make homemade chocolates. While buying chocolates for someone is still nice, making some for yourself just makes it that much more special. Speaking of making it more special, a custom-made card will truly show just how much you care about them. If you really want to get on the good side of your significant other this Valentine's, think about making a playlist of all the songs that remind you of them. To finish off a great Valentine's, go on a leisurely walk or bike ride. We hope these bits of advice help you have a special Valentine's while saving your wallet in the process. Because in the end, it doesn't matter if you buy the most expensive things. What really matters is that you make sure they know you truly care about them. Try to do something that only you can do, and make this Valentine's more special than the last. This has been Gavin Spiker, reporting for the Current OC.
With coaching though, because we're out in the elements, we deal with wind, we deal with the currents, and deal with temperature. We have to be willing to adapt on the fly. We're out in the water, so we have to make sure the coaching equipment is available, that all the repairs are done on the boats prior to going out. But once we're at practice, there's warm-up and stretching.
We've all been in that spot where we're laying on the couch, watching an NFL game, and we see a player make a mistake, and we think to ourselves, gosh darn it, I could have made that catch. I could have stopped that sack. I could have made that tackle. But the bottom line is, if a grown man who's been practicing since high school and gets paid to do this for a living can't do it, what makes us think we can? So, we here at the Current OC thought we'd find out how hard it really is to step into the shoes of an NFL prospect.
The NFL Combine is a set of tests for players that highlights their strengths and weaknesses as athletes in preparation for the NFL Draft. We decided to pick a few of these tests and try our hand at them to see where we compare with some of the NFL's best and brightest. Let's see our OC athletes. Starting off is the 40-yard dash. This tests the speed and agility of our players to see how fast they really are. For reference, the average time of an offensive guard is 5.37 seconds.
At the Combine, players must bench repetitions of 225 pounds as a show of strength and muscular endurance. But because we don't want to be crushed by the bar, we're just going to do our maxes. Next up was the kicking drill. When things come down to the last second and it's all on the line, it's the best kickers who can win games and it's the worst ones who can lose them. So we thought we'd kick back and give field goals from the 20-yard line.
This is called the Triple T Special Part 1.
All right, folks. We suck as football players, except for Luke Legatron. We did not do as great as we thought, and I don't really see any of us going to the NFL anytime soon. It's been Taylor Tucker reporting for the current OC.